just got to see where the levels are at. Speak a minute. Say something.
And hopefully there's something.
Yeah, that's alright.
Hopefully this one doesn't get corrupted.
It won't do. Right. Welcome to the Note in the Silence podcast. I am here today with Callum. Thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Right, before we start this podcast, just a warning: if I sound like I'm in any way like not functioning properly, so I'm being a bit slower than normal. I did something yesterday where I had to get up really early to do that, so I'm sort of not functioning properly. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's a hell of a story what happened yesterday.
Is it?
Yeah, so I obviously, like I told you, I woke up at 6 to get the bus in.
Yeah.
And then, so I left my house at about 7:15.
Huh?
And I was walking down my lane, because
Yeah.
I live like along a road that's classed as a lane. It's like a cut through, but it's not cut through because half the road isn't even finished.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this woman with this black Labrador was walking towards me. Now, I'm not. Well, I wouldn't say that I'm the biggest lover of dogs if I don't know the owner. Like, if I know the owner, I know then what the dogs are going to be like normally, because dogs can be very much like their owners.
Yeah.
So I was walking along, all of a sudden this man comes round the corner. Bearing in mind, I've got a face mask on because I have to get a bus. So I've got a mask on. All of a sudden, this man says something. This dog darts towards this man. And bearing in mind the woman was quite old, this lead goes back, and all of a sudden this woman goes fucking flying.
Oh.
Like right onto a grass verge. Luckily it wasn't onto the tarmac, because if it was, I would have been in trouble. So me and this man help her up I help her up while this man's holding this woman's dog. And then I get blamed for the dog darting off because the dog can't see my face.
Okay.
So I'm like, right, I don't see how that's my fault, because at the end of the day, I'm just protecting, I'm just following the guidance for what I need to do to be able to get on the bus. So I was like, yeah, enough of that, I'm just going to carry on.
Yeah.
And then I get into the city, and I knew this from last night, but I arrive in at 8:30.
Yeah.
My driving lesson started at 10.
Right. So you had a lot of
Yeah, had a lot of time waiting, so I was like, I'll tell you what, I need a fucking piss. So I walked into the Guildhall, as you do. Go upstairs to take a piss. It's like a military checkpoint to be able to take a piss. There's certain ways you have to go, and you have to hand sanitize your hands before you go in. You have to then get your temperature checked to be able to go in. You go in there, you take your piss, you wash your hands, you hand sanitize on the way out. You get your temperature checked again on the way out. And then you're on your way. But it was just effort. Like, realistically.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And then they've got every other toilet blocked off as well. But what they don't realise is, men do that anyway. Because realistically, who wants another man sat or stood next to them while they're having a piss?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's just like the unspoken rule.
Exactly. So we're perfectly cut out for doing like the new system, other than the military operation to get in. Yeah, so that's not the best bit. Then I was just walking around, thinking shops were open at the normal time, which is 9. Did they? Fuck, they weren't open by the time my lesson started.
Or would have. Oh wait, no, you mean.
Yeah, so I spent the whole driving lesson trying to work out or trying to get used to my driving instructor's clutch on his car, because I've been practicing in my mum's and I've got used to that, and that has a much higher clutch.
Right.
So that pissed me off. Then last night or the night before, Stuart messaged me saying, "Oh, can you look for a few things in game CEX and HMV?" So I was like, I'm going in them places anyway, so I may as well. I go into game. The staff were in there, but it's one of them where you have to wait outside. And then they come out and ask what you want. So I was like, right, I'm not entertaining this at all. Went in CEX, couldn't find it, and I was forced to queue outside as well. Actually, no, I didn't make it in CEX. I was waiting outside and got bored of waiting, so fucked off the HMV.
Right.
Because there's like a 10-person queue constantly outside of CEX. So got into HMV, and you know you have to sometimes look through like the DVDs and games to find the one that you want, because they've got them stacked. Yeah, I was doing that, trying to find it. This employee suddenly came over to me and was like, will you please stop touching all the stuff, otherwise we'll have to ask you to leave. I was like, are you taking the fucking piss? That's what I thought in my head. Bearing in mind, I was pissed off already.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see why he says that, but at the same time, it's a bit, like, annoying that they would stack it that way.
Exactly. So, you imagine me in the circumstance of not thinking logically because I'm annoyed, and I've got a mask on, so I haven't been able to breathe properly for half the day.
Oh yeah, that's one thing. So I had to remember. I said I went to the hospital to get my shaky hands checked.
Yeah.
I had to wear a mask, and through that like whole time, especially because I have the beard, right? I have a beard.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, no, it's so bad.
Were yours steaming up?
Yeah, my glasses were steaming up.
Yeah, that's the same thing that happened to me.
Itchy all over my face. Hating it.
Yeah.
And like I got a bit of a funny story as well when I was in there. So as I said, I had the BET, which is the thing that makes my hand shake. But they wanted to check to see if it had something to do with my blood as well. See if it was like something to do with the blood. So they took me in another room. Did the normal thing that you normally do with blood tests, you know, so they start getting you to tap your arm, put a thing around your arm, find like thing, put it in. So the blood wouldn't go through the little tube the first time they did it.
Yeah.
So she took it off, cleaned it up, put it in the other one, put it in my other arm, did the same thing. Still didn't work. So then they had to start checking lower down my left hand arm, and she said, "All right, I'm not gonna try and take another bit of blood." But then she noticed there was a part that was like they could do it with. She decided to go for it, and that time the blood went out. But I ended up walking out of that
with 3 holes in your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I walked out and my mum looked at me and started laughing.
Yeah.
So I had like these 3 bits of tape with little cotton swabs, 3 of them on my arms.
Yeah. Yeah, so mine's not quite as bad as that. I just got my revenge on some grumpy customer service staff.
Oh.
So me being in the position of like pissed off, wearing a mask, so not being able to breathe properly, and in the mindset of I can't really be fucked with this. I say, well, fuck the lot of you then, I'm leaving. And just walk out.
Right.
And then I had one of their official staff follow me, so now I can't go in HMV.
Oh.
I'm banned from the HMV. So then it gets better. I was then in Poundland. I just walked in, and this other grumpy employee says there's masks there. Bearing in mind, I went in there to get this certain type of mask because it's the only one that I find bearable to wear. And I was like, alright, bearing in mind I didn't hear him because I had my headphones in. And then, best of all, I was, like I said before, I was already annoyed. So I turned around to him and went, "You what?" And his face completely changed. It went from grumpy, oh, I'm shitting myself. Because bearing in mind, you know how tall I am. If I go into anywhere, I tower over most people.
Oh, so you were taller than this person?
Yeah, so I was about half a foot taller than him. Look, I looked down and just went, "You what?"
Oh no.
And then he had a look of like he was shitting himself, and he said, "Well, you can take them if you want." And I was like, "Yeah, alright." And I was like, "Oh, whatever," and then just carried on. So I found the ones I wanted. I picked them up, stood in queue, and all of a sudden this fucking Polish woman, well, she sounded Polish anyway, but
okay,
I couldn't tell with this one because I couldn't hear properly because I had my music on still. But this woman said, you can take these reusable," and I went, now me after all of this, I was fucking fuming. I was like, what if one more person came up to me and said anything? I was gonna hit them. I was at that point.
Jeez, okay.
And I went, if I wanted those ones, I would have picked them up at the fucking entrance, because those were the ones that were at the entrance. So I went from being quite polite at the start of the day to then absolutely shouting at a foreign employee at Poundland.
Jeez.
And luckily I got out of there before any of the official people could ban me from it. But, like, realistically, I don't want to be disturbed while I'm shopping. If I'm shopping, I want to go in there, get what I want, pay for it, and fuck off back home.
Yeah.
Because if there's one thing I hate, it's people trying to help me when I know what I want, unless I'm asking for it. And I don't, you know what I'm like, I don't take instructions very well either.
No, you don't.
So I can be there, someone can say do this, and I'll on purposely do the opposite.
Yeah.
So then I was debating whether to get some lunch, but I saw that Mackey's was the only place that was open. I thought, oh fuck that, I've had too many Mackey's since lockdown was eased. So bearing in mind I still have the mop that's on my head as well, because my appointment's this weekend to get my hair cut. So I look homeless while I'm walking around, other than the clothes being fairly clean, which that's the only reason people would know that I actually have a house.
Right.
Although I did shave before leaving, so that was one good thing. Because now that barbers are reopened or are open, I feel it's at the stage where I can shave again and stop looking like a nonce. So I decided not to eat and got on the bus back. Bearing in mind I had to wait 15 minutes for that, because it was 2:15, and the bus to where I live, because it's out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, arrives every hour.
Yep.
So I was sitting on the bus on the way back. I couldn't keep myself awake.
Yeah.
So I was there falling asleep every couple of minutes. Woke up luckily like round the corner from my stop. So I woke up, shat myself, pressed a button, and then ran for the front of the bus. I then got in, had a couple of hours sleep after lunch, then got to my dinner, and I was still tired. So I was trying to eat, but when I'm going to compare myself to a young child here, but when babies, like when they eat, they sometimes fall into their food because they're tired.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I looked like to a T.
But you didn't do it, right?
No, I didn't fall into my food because it was taken away before I did.
Oh, so you didn't really eat then?
No, so I hardly ate, and then after that I thought, I'll go on my PC on a game with my brother and his mates to wake myself up a bit. Got on the PC. The game that we all go on's down for maintenance.
Right.
So I'm there telling the story that I've just told you of what happened to my brother's mate, and they're all, my brother and his mates, and they're all pissing themselves laughing. Yeah, and then I then just fall asleep.
What, on the mic?
Yeah, on the mic. And then so I've slept more this past day than I probably have ever.
Does sound like you had a long day though.
Yeah. Yeah, so then I've decided with to change, well, let me start that again. I've decided to change my approach to driving lessons now.
What's that change gonna be?
Pretty much, I'm gonna get a list of all the manoeuvres. I'm gonna let my mum teach me driving, because I feel I learn better when she's teaching me. And then I'm gonna take my test in my mum's car, because I'm more used to it.
Right.
Like it's a no-brainer really. The only trouble is I've got to then it's got to be really particular on how it's done. But that shouldn't be a problem.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was yesterday. This morning I've woken up feeling like absolute shit as well before I ate. Now I feel a bit better, if I'm honest.
At least you feel better now.
In fact, I don't feel a bit better, I feel a lot better. Because I've got some food in me, so I've got a full stomach now. I've got my chocolate orange by the side of me for later. And I could potentially be going for a drive, because my mum's car's supposed to be ready today. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems fair enough. Hopefully you have a better day today.
No, honestly, I haven't told you about the story of last week either, have I?
No, what happened last week?
Oh, you'll love this one. So, Monday, I did, well, I was doing something and something went majorly wrong with what I was doing. Like, majorly.
Right. Okay.
Tuesday was, well, the day I went out for a drive and the injector for something blew up while I was driving.
Oh god.
And I was, as I said, I turned around and went, "Oh, I think we're smoking."
Yeah, I remember that now.
That was an understatement, I think.
Oh,
So I've probably taken a few years off my life for that. Then on Wednesday, that thing corrupted.
Yep.
On Thursday, I was recording I think I was recording a song then, and I tried loading up Adobe Audition, which is what I use to record my vocals, and it crashed about 8 times before it allowed me to use it. And then my PC was just fucking up generally that day, so that was fun. Then
doesn't sound like you're having a very fun time right now.
no, not really. Then Friday, I think I recorded an episode of the podcast with Alex, if I'm remembering correctly, and then something happened that day. I skipped past Wednesday because you know what happened on Wednesday.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because you were there when it happened.
Yeah.
Fucking OBS. See, once I upgrade my computer, that shouldn't be a problem. But
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. So then on Saturday, actually no, it was that Friday evening I did a stream. So I did a GTA stream with Stuart and Jordan.
Yeah.
Now, you know what Jordan's known for.
Yeah.
So we were on the stream. We just got to the bit near to where I stopped it, and Jordan was the reason I stopped it after what he said. And
of course.
And like all of a sudden, so Stuart's cousin had joined at this point, and he'd just left his mic there and was stuck in the lobby. So Stuart said, "Scream obscenities" to try and get him to come back on the mic. And Jordan all of a sudden screams a certain word 4 or 5 times in a row. Now, luckily, when it in the format it was because I export my VOD straight to YouTube, but as unlisted videos.
Yeah.
So I had time to edit it before I put it up. That video is now up, the edited version.
Okay, good.
So I can send it to you if you want. It's like a 2 or 3 hour video. Because it's just literally a VOD of a stream.
Okay.
And
but yeah, no, that's and then literally just right then you just ended the stream.
No, I had to contemplate it for about 15 minutes before I ended it.
Right.
I haven't been banned though.
Lucky.
Considering it's Twitch, I'm surprised I haven't been banned yet.
Yeah.
Although at the end of the day, it wasn't me who said it, was it?
No, but I don't.
Yeah, they don't discriminate. Well, they do toward women, but as in it's positive discrimination towards women. So women can do anything they want and not get banned. But as soon as I do what they're doing, I get banned. But yeah, that was fun. Then on Saturday, I recorded another song, went on Instagram, and there's this musician I follow. Now, don't get me wrong, I have the ultimate respect for this musician. He's from New York. Right. But tell me why when I go on his Instagram story, there's fucking 50 of them.
What, 50 Instagram stories?
Yeah, it was promoting his up-and-coming album. 50 stories of just him saying, buy my album in different ways.
Yeah, it seems a bit much.
Yeah, so I discussed this with Ben on the episode I recorded with him on Sunday. Sunday was the day that went well in that week.
At least you had a good day.
Yeah, I had a quality day because he, me and him were just discussing things on the episode, and then he listened to the latest project I've got coming out, which should be out now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't received his audio yet, so this will be going out probably before his one, depending on if I get his audio sorted.
Because he does his own audio, doesn't he?
Yeah, if I get his audio, this will be coming out after. But if I don't, this will be out on Tuesday.
Well, guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not too bothered in which order they come out, because I know with Ben, it may take him a while, but I will get, like, what I ask for from him eventually, because obviously he's willing to help with it, so he'll send it over eventually when he has time. But I'm alright with that, because there's plenty I can do in the meantime.
Yeah.
So then, yeah. Yeah,
Well,
in fact,
I don't have any interest.
I'm actually going to read out the tweet that I put out about this Instagram story thing.
Oh God.
Because it's a quality one. It's a two-parter. You know it's good when it's a two-parter.
Two-parters means someone has a lot to say.
So I put, all artists out there, I know you want to connect with your fans and let them know about your latest releases, but putting 50 Instagram stories up is just jarring and actually puts listeners off. Just seen an artist that refused to work with me do this. He has under 15 monthly listeners and releases almost every month. Also does not have anything with over 1,000 views / streams. I may say a week before I release and I have work with over 1,000 views / listeners. And over 100 more monthly viewers. He's also got slightly more followers, if you were wondering. Don't be like this person, market effectively and everyone wins.
Sounds fair enough.
Yeah, by market effectively, I mean, if you're gonna market,
don't overdo it.
Put one up beforehand and maybe do a challenge associated with it. So then that's clever marketing, because it's not too much, but it's not too little either.
Yeah.
Because, like for example, KSI, he puts 3 or 4 stories up, but
yeah,
this person is, how can I put it? He's not got the same energy as KSI. Don't get me wrong, he's a good musician. I don't particularly like his music personally, it's not for me. But
you don't think it's bad?
I don't think it's bad. I have respect for him for doing it. I have respect for anyone that's willing to make stuff and put it out there. Because, especially as I know this too well, people get criticism when they do things that people don't want them to do.
Right.
So I've got criticism for everything I've done before, but I don't care, because I know whatever I do, eventually I will succeed in. So I'm not really too fussed about what people say. Plus, if I enjoy it, I'll do it.
That's fair enough.
But this person complains when people don't buy his album, when he literally just goes on at them for 50 Instagram stories, and each Instagram story is 15 to 30 seconds long.
Jeez.
So that would be around. I don't actually know how much that would be. 30, around
A few
three
minutes,
minutes, 3 minutes worth of Instagram stories.
3 minutes of just ads.
Yeah, and 3 minutes of him just speaking about that, and maybe doing the odd review because he does like reviews. But then, so he pretty much when I mentioned that he refused to work with me, it's like he thinks I sound like someone that he has beef with or had beef with.
Right.
So because of that, he's refusing to work with me. Essentially, he said, well, I sort of over-egged it a bit for the Twitter feed, but he said he's not refusing, but it might take him a while to get his head to the place where he would feel comfortable with working with me.
Right.
So I just had to do that because, you know, when you put a tweet out like that, you sort of want to get people interested by sort of creating a narrative. So you sort of exaggerate a little bit. But
I guess.
nothing against him in any way. He can carry on doing it his style, but he's essentially, because, you know, record labels do mass marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they all have Instagram ads popping up constantly, and you'll hear a signed artist on every single radio station at any time, and it'll be like you can't get anywhere without hearing it at some point.
Yeah.
He's essentially doing that, but on Instagram and social media. Which means you can literally never avoid hearing what he has to say.
Yeah.
Unless you don't have a phone signal or Wi-Fi signal, in which case you're blessed.
Is it really that constant?
Oh, honestly, it's this week it's almost been daily.
Jesus.
But then, like, even the people who he associates with don't do it as much as him. Like, if I'm honest, I've had beef with one of his mates. I'm going to be honest, but I've sorted that pretty quickly because I overreacted. And Callum, you can back me up on this. I may be the first to start something based on what someone else has said.
Yeah.
But I'm also the first to admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah. You do.
Yeah, I'm not the sort of person to just start something and just be really, really annoyed when I get proven wrong and not even admit to it, because admitting when you're wrong is the best way of learning, because then you know for the future to not do that thing that you did.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It's like when I had the beef with Chris last year. Now, the podcast viewers will have absolutely no idea who Chris is unless they already follow me and have seen any of the videos that I put out throughout last year, which Chris was in a lot of them or was the subject of a lot of them. But I admitted from the very start that it got taken too far.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly. But that was because Chris was going through a difficult time, which made him hypersensitive, and
Yeah.
I was sort of going through a difficult time. But that was also me going through the stage of, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I'm just going to say what I feel, and if people don't like it, they don't have to listen. So that was me going through an ignorant stage, which I do go through them quite often. Like, I go through them at least once per year, where I'm like, especially when, like, it's really like a good time of the year. So in summer, it's my worst time for it, and when it's sunny outside.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you've experienced that, where I've said something that's a bit over the line when it's been like really sunny and really nice.
I think you have.
Yeah.
It does sound about right.
Yeah. So then.
But I get it, like the humidity gets to you, makes you go faster and stuff.
No, I just feel a lot, when I'm a lot happier, I'm usually a lot more interactive with people. And when I'm a lot more interactive with people, if people start making jokes, I will then start making jokes as well, but then jokes can often be out of context and seem a lot worse than everyone else's.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah. Right. Might be a good idea to get on to the topic now.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, the topic of today's podcast, I guess we could do something, we could make the topic of just like, you know, discussions between like artists and stuff.
I guess.
Considering that's all we've been talking about so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So personally, as an artist myself, I don't class myself as an artist because it's a very vague term.
Yeah. Kind of see what you mean to say that.
And at the end of the day, I would class myself more as a I don't know what I'd class myself as, because I'm not like a lot of other artists in a way. Because you won't get a lot of artists who do literally everything themselves.
Yeah.
Most people, at least, well, apart from the beat making sometimes, but that's the only thing I have in common with most people who are cast as artists.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I do produce the instrumental myself, but I record, I write, I do the writing, I record, I mix, I master, I upload, I distribute myself. I do have managers, but I have managers for different things, so it's rare that you'll find my managers helping with the writing at all. So with me, it'll be I'm a lot of the time writing while my management will be sorting out. Like I have a financial manager, so pretty much similar to an accountant. I have a tour manager that's only ever employed when I need him.
Because it costs too much.
Yeah, because he gets 20% of all my earnings if I travel around and perform anywhere. And then I have a feature manager who, as the name suggests, he reaches out to any people I want to collaborate with.
Yeah.
And it just means that it's a bit more official, so that the people will have an idea that, oh, this person's really about what they're talking, because they've got an official person who they've employed to contact people.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Although, yeah, I don't normally like collaborating as much. That's purely because if let's say if you collaborate and then get absolutely bodied by the person who you collaborate with,
yeah,
it doesn't look good, does it?
Guess not.
So that's why if I choose a collaboration, I choose a collaboration with someone who I think complements my style and makes me look good.
Right.
So I'm not saying that they're the people I collaborate with, as in musically, not podcast style.
Yeah.
Because podcasting isn't an art. You're not called an artist for creating a podcast.
No, that's stuff.
Yeah. So musically, the people who I collaborate with may be worse than me in some aspects.
Right.
But they usually have a different style to me. So their style will complement my style, but that will just mean that within their style I'll make them look good, and within my style they'll make me look good.
So it's hopefully a win-win situation.
Exactly. So I also don't do paid features either. So I don't, if someone wants me to help them with something, I don't ask for a fee. I do if it's engineering or producing, because that's obvious. Because if the person's asking for a producer, normally they can't do it themselves because they're lazy fuckers, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
So, if let's say I'm doing a verse for someone, I won't ask them for a fee or anything. I'll just say, right, if I need you to do something for me, I will message you and you'll have to do it for me legally.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a swap. So I do something for them, and then they do something for me at a later time. I know a lot of people charge, that American artist who I'm saying about.
I need to go for a second.
Okay.
I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. Right. So we are now back.
Hey. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think I was talking before about how I don't generally do a lot of features, so I don't normally have a lot of interactions.
You were talking about how you don't normally do
paid stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll notice a lot of people doing paid features. I've heard anywhere from $50, so about 25 quid for a feature anywhere up to the million dollar, so $500,000.
Yes.
But the ones who will charge like $1 million are the professionals. But the only people that can afford to hire them or get a feature from them are other professionals who are most likely earning that from one song. So
Jeez.
it fits in. But,
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. So if I do ever charge, most likely, well, I'm not planning on doing that anytime soon, if I'm honest. I'm planning on just sticking to my swap deals. So then,
Fair enough.
because it does make it easier when you don't have to agree on a price, and it's just that at some point they will have to then jump on a song with me. But it does mean if they then refuse to, I can say, well, I want half of the earnings from that.
Ah, okay.
So I can then request the money from the song if they then refuse to do the swap.
Fair enough.
But it'll be most likely, if it's from the streams, it'll be hardly anything. Because
barely make much from the streams.
Well, it depends who you are and where you're based, because anyone in America automatically makes more than someone from the UK from a stream. So I make approximately half a penny from a stream.
Right.
Whereas in America they can be making anywhere from what I'm making to a penny per stream. It also depends on how the music you make runs in the algorithm, because I know some people who are really high in the algorithm but still earn less than me, and people who are really low in the algorithm but they're from America, so they earn more than me. Because I'm around the mid stage where I'm still improving, but I get the odd one that dropped low, but a lot of the time I'm around that mid section. And that's the standard. I earn the standard for a UK artist in the mid section, because you've got to give more information to get higher up the price tier. But obviously, in this day and age, you don't want to be giving out too much information.
That's true.
That's the reason that a certain app is soon to be banned everywhere.
TikTok.
Yeah, I knew you would have heard about it.
Yeah, no, I heard about it.
Like, see, I've known what it is for a long time, which is why my app hasn't been working for a while, because I refused to download the proxy server. But even then, I still uninstalled it the other day. Yes,
okay.
that does mean I no longer have it on my phone, and if I want to promote on there, I will be uploading it through a computer. Because they legally can't do that on a computer, and legally Windows has to say, or Apple on a Mac has to say, if your data's been taken. Plus, I use a VPN anyway on my PC, so it will change my location.
That's quick.
Yeah, so usually it starts off as the IP address next to my actual one, and then it will slowly go around. So I've had a stage where someone said, are you on a flight or something? Because they'd wondered why I'd why my location had gone from the Netherlands to Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And then they wondered why I could speak perfect English as well. Yeah.
Sounds like you've had some interesting conversations because of the VPN.
Yeah, it does slow my internet down a lot, but it's worth doing because it means that any site that would be able to access your data can't, because it's locked within the VPN. And it's all stored on the local device, so they have to actually get past the VPN, get onto the local device before they can actually access anything.
That's good.
Yeah, I would, if you ever use a PC, I would highly recommend getting a encoded VPN. And it's not like, do you know they have like the NordVPN and all of that?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about, it's not NordVPN, it's one that my mate once again coded for me. So it's a separate app totally that only me and a few select people have. That if you go onto it, it will pretty much, so everything looks normal apart from if I try to go anywhere, and it automatically alerts me if there's a breach that's happening or if they're trying to breach it.
That also sounds good.
So then you just click back, and then as soon as you've clicked back, you're off of the site, so they can't access it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that does sound good.
Yeah, that's not the point though. But we've got to get back onto the topic at hand here.
Yeah.
So, I've heard from people I know that, well, and from the experiences I have had with getting features, that a lot of people in the industry are up their own arse a bit. Do you know what I mean by that?
Very self-centered.
Yeah.
Full of themselves, think they're the best, they're hot. Like, hot shit, but they...
Yeah.
Basically, they think they're above everyone else. The fame's gone to their head, is what I mean.
Yeah, that's the thing though. A lot of, like, the musicians that you see that are famous are about 0.1% of the actual musicians that are there. And in the same genre as them. So,
yeah,
it's a slightly higher percentage than that in the UK, but in America that's what it is, because it's obviously such a big place. So, and in the UK you have a higher chance of getting recognised, which is why a lot of American artists are starting to promote more in the UK. A great example of this is an artist who was actually killed near the start of this year, or just before the start of this year. He's called Pop Smoke, and well, I'm pretty sure you would have heard one of his songs at some point.
I might have, I just don't know the name of like him.
Yeah, so he uses British beats. He uses a very UK beat style, but then does the American style lyrics over the top.
So it's a sort of mixed.
Yeah, it's the only person from the US. He's the only person from the US who I've seen other than Ice Cube, but Ice Cube should be able to do this because he's a legend in like the scene. He's the only person who I've seen take a new wave UK style beat and be able to work his American like rhymes into it.
So you think he's probably the only other one that can do it at the moment?
Yeah, I know.
Because
if
other one,
if Eminem wanted to, they could easily, and I know a lot of singers have attempted to, but it hasn't really worked as well as with
Rap.
Yeah, in rap it's more difficult to do it than in singing. I'll put it that way, because there's not really a style with other genres in each country, is there?
I wouldn't think so.
Like with singing, you either have like the depressing style, which is lots of mostly pianos and maybe the odd guitar, but it's all pretty similar.
Guitar. Yeah, slow and depressing.
Yeah, whereas with the rap genre especially, there's so many different styles within it, and there are so many styles that are practiced by certain countries that other countries think don't work, that it's extremely difficult to find one thing in common between all of them, other than the fact it's slightly faster paced and there's less singing involved. Although that's not even true now, because to be classed as a good rapper, you've also got to be able to add melody and almost sing.
Yeah, and it was a rap as well.
Yeah, it's like gone from a stage where it's all about your lyrics and how they sound to and in a way it's gone from being unique to being unique in the sense of you're talking about something different but having exactly the same sound as everyone else.
Right.
That's how I feel anyway. I wouldn't say that there's a lot of progression in terms of the style. I know I try to implement a different style every time and try to twist it a bit to make it unique, because I don't want to be like everyone else. Because
you want to be unique.
As I'm gonna quote Snoop Dogg here, if you be you, or he says, once you be you, who else can be you but you? And that's a phrase I take into everything I do.
It's a good quote. Right.
Yeah. Because if let's say, even with what we do, so the filmmaking side of it as well as the music side, if you do something that you have a connection with, then it's more likely that other people are going to connect with it as well.
Yeah.
So if I can, for example, if I can make something that I can connect with in a deep way, who says that, let's say, someone else who's grown up in similar conditions to me, that can see what I'm trying to do and can see that I have a connection to it.
They can relate to that?
Yeah, they can relate to that, and then it will make it more appealing to them because of that.
I guess relatability really helps with a lot of medias when it comes to getting people interested in it.
Yeah.
It's like coming with the films. You find a relatable character, you most likely like that character.
Yeah, and then most likely you'll like the film. And it's the same with music as well, especially with storytelling music. If you like one part, or if you can relate to even one part of it, most likely that will be something you listen to over and over again.
Yeah.
Like I've said this before, and I think KSI said it in a video before, where it's like, you as a musician, you've got to be able to make songs, because if you don't make what is quote unquote a song, you'll never get any replayability to it.
Yeah.
And without replayability, you can't have a song that will be a classic, because people will listen to it once or twice and just forget.
Yeah.
That's why, that's why I can't listen to, let's say, well, I'm talking strictly rap here. I don't know if there's any other people like this in any other genre, but have you heard of Dax?
No.
Right, so he's a YouTube rapper who essentially he freestyles everything.
Yeah.
But they're not freestyles technically because he writes them. And with freestyles, it's strictly off the top normally.
Yeah.
So he does that, but he might incorporate a chorus into it over and over. But the trouble with that is it doesn't sound like a chorus because it's not done in a way that a chorus would normally be done in. So it sounds like he's just freestyling everything, which means you listen to it once, it's like, oh, that's impressive. But then each thing's the same, almost.
And then you end up not.
Exactly, so you end up listening to it once or twice thinking, that's impressive each time. But then you never stick around. It's not like with, for example, a Kendrick Lamar who makes songs, but he tells a story throughout his songs and has choruses in that reinforce the story.
Yeah.
And then with everything he does, he is always coming with different content, so everything sounds different, everything like appears different, and then it's always a lot easier to listen to because you know you're not going to be listening to the same thing again, and it's going to be in the format of a song.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Like, for example, it's like comparing a film and a YouTube video, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, in YouTube videos, they're interesting, don't get me wrong, but you can't...
But they're probably look.
Yeah, it's like you can't get a proper storyline from one because there isn't a proper storyline. But with a film, it's been planned over a longer time, so you can get a narrative and a storyline from it because there is one there.
Yeah, you could also say the same with like a TV series or something.
Yeah, it's like anything. Okay, maybe not film and YouTube video. YouTube video and anything that takes longer to plan than a month. Or a week.
I mean, unless it's like a really big YouTube project.
Yeah.
Because you get those like.
Yeah, but I don't class them as YouTube videos. I class them more as YouTube series. And YouTube series would be mixed in with the content that takes more than a month to plan, or a week.
Yeah.
Like there was one really interesting one that I was watching, where it was they blatantly copied a BBC TV series.
Yeah.
But they started off with absolutely nothing but a brick phone, a map, and I think it was a GPS tracker, and they had a cameraman with each person, and they had to get from one place to another.
Right.
With no money, and they had to find ways to get there.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
It is. I'll send a link to you after, if you want.
Yeah.
It's almost inspiring in a way because it shows that there is a bit of humanity still in people. even though like there are so many bad things going on in the world, there's still like a little bit of humanity in people because they're still helping these people get from A to B.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there was another one that I watched where it was I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was some sort of like drama.
Okay.
Where they showed people it's set in London, so you get the idea of what it's going to be just from that. But it's this man who's just come out of prison who's trying to help people in his local area get out of gang violence.
Yeah.
And instead of like doing the usual thing, which is like trying to get a job and build himself up, he uses the money he made from his past life to then set up a recording studio, and he gets 2 people from rival areas in.
Yeah.
And at the end, there's 2 different options that play out. There's the first one, which is because this ex-convict gets stabbed and ends up in hospital.
Right.
There's the first one, which is one runs after the other and then stabs him to death, or they agree that they're not gonna argue because they're both getting help for the same reason. And that was an excellent one, because it almost showed there's like 2 sides to everything.
Yeah. 2 things that could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's the same with like music as well. Because don't get me wrong, I like the music where people are showing off as much as the next person.
Yeah.
So one of my guilty pleasures is listening to Rick Ross.
Okay, I'm guessing he does a lot of.
He's known as the rich man rap. Because he made a whole song about him buying a yacht.
Well, I mean, KSI did a whole video about a Lamborghini.
Yeah, no, he's done actually, I think it's 2 or 3 songs about that.
Wait, there's 2 or 3 Lamborghinis.
No, so with Rick Ross has done Purple Lamborghini Doors, and then there's another one, but I can't remember the title of it.
Okay, wow, alright.
But he, like, it's almost because I aspire to sort of be in a position where I can afford nice things like that. It's sort of that gives me motivation to do it in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the same time, I don't really like those kinds of videos. You got like YouTubers that do it as well. I don't really like it because I just feel like they're trying to, as some people would say, flex their wealth on people.
Yeah. But then,
you know, like,
that's the thing. I also like the stories head inside. So there's a rapper called, well, he's got a imagination barrier because his rap name's Rapman.
Yeah.
And he's the director of the film Blue Story.
Okay.
And he's working on a film in Hollywood, I think, at the moment. And he made, before he blew up with the film side of his career, he made storytelling music where then he made a film around it just on YouTube that was self-funded, where it would be 50% film, 50% rap.
Interesting.
And like, I think I'm just going to look up how much or how many views his latest one. So So his latest one has. Oh no, that's the first one. That's the first one. The third. So the first one has 7.7 million views. Well, closer to 7.8.
It's pretty good.
The second one has 7.4 million views. And the third one, so this is a series, has 8.6 million.
So they've all done really well.
Yeah. And then, so he's managed by Jay-Z and the, I think it's the Rockefeller Management for film and TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's essentially got Jay-Z as his manager. Which means he's going to be able to do whatever he wants in his career for the rest of the time he's in the film and TV industry.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays when like a lot of creative freedom is restricted.
Yeah. Well, that's only going to get worse.
Oh, I know.
So what I'll do is I'll send you a link to the third edition of that. I've actually got to load up Discord on the PC for that to work. So I'm hoping it doesn't launch like this. Right, so there's that. Just so you can give it a watch afterwards.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna try and find the series type thing I was watching with the travel one.
Yeah.
Because it's really interesting. Admittedly, I'm not a big fan of the actual creator that did it or that made the video, because I do find him a tad annoying, but like I like the concept of it.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so then with like myself and my like music, I almost want to do a bit of both. So I want to actually I'll send you the Rick Ross thing that I was saying about as well.
Okay, but you said you want to. So, what do you want to do? Stuff like that, where you do a bit of rap and a bit of like storytelling stuff, something like that.
Yeah. So I don't want to like make the same sort of stuff over and over again, because it's like it's just a bit boring doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
I've got to load up Discord on my PC to send that to you again. Because I'd closed it because I thought I'd sent everything.
I guess the problem with probably doing similar songs all the time is you also start to see it less as like a job that you enjoy and probably more like a chore because you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, see, during the album process, so the making of an album, I always get to a stage where I'm not doing it so much for the actual making of it or for the actual enjoyment of it. I'm more doing it for, well, to get it done. So you'll find that's when delays happen or when the label fucks up, but that's not the point. So normally that's when delays happen and I'll take a step back away for like a month.
Yeah.
And then we'll jump straight back in and carry on, and then the motivation will be there again. That's the same with like editing. I can't be editing constantly because otherwise I won't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So,
well, like, I know like a lot of creators get that sort of problem.
Yeah, that's why. That's why on YouTube I might not upload for 2 or 3 months, and then I might just come back with like 3 straight weeks of just constant content. And then it might be another 3 months, and then I'll be back with some more. But that's just because I only want to put something out when I'm motivated to.
And not when you don't feel like it, or feel like you're being forced to.
Yeah, because then the people watching will know if I'm enjoying making what I'm putting out. And if I'm not enjoying what I'm putting out, other people won't. Actually, to be fair, I find that my audience actually like it when I'm more annoyed.
What makes you say that?
Because my most viewed videos on both my channels are either music where I've been complaining about something within it, or a video where it's a compilation of me angry.
People like rage compilations though.
Yeah.
Because some people find videos of people getting annoyed, they find that funny.
Yeah, see, as the person who's getting angry, I don't enjoy recording them. But I do enjoy editing them.
I think that's kind of like the double-sided part of it.
Yeah, because at the time, while recording it, obviously I'm getting super annoyed. That's unhealthy. I'm not supposed to be as annoyed as I would get. But while editing them, I can sort of laugh at it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult line between being annoyed all the time and not being annoyed.
Yeah.
Because I find a lot of the time I almost have to force myself sometimes to be annoyed because I feel like that's what people want. I mean, it helps that I get annoyed at a lot of things anyway.
Yes.
Because like you've seen me when I've just come in on some days and I've just complained non-stop from the moment I've entered the building to the moment I've left.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It helps that I can do that on command. I don't like. There's not a specific thing that can cause that to happen. That's just me generally. So it helps that I can do that, but at the same time, I've always wanted to make stuff where I'm not complaining, but then I make it. I enjoy making it. I put it out.
And it doesn't do very well.
Yeah, it doesn't do very well. Like, even the stuff where I'm, let's say, abusing other people on games, that does better than that. Although, to be fair, I found the podcast was doing really well. Well, I'm not saying really well, but quite well before I took the 2-week break. So, obviously, a relative of mine passed, which is why I took the break. And then, during that break, I was non-stop recording.
Yeah.
Just because I thought I need to keep myself occupied, but I don't want to be like over-occupied.
Yeah, that makes.
So I still had a lot of time where I was doing nothing, but at the same time, I was keeping myself very, very, very busy. And during that time, and well, obviously with the YouTube algorithm, if you don't post for a couple weeks,
It forgets about you.
Yeah, it forgets. So
Or it doesn't show your stuff.
Exactly. So I'll pull up the analytics for my latest stuff on the podcast channel. I'm gonna have to wait for it to load because my internet's shit because of my VPN. Yeah, come on, give me the option to. Right, so the one, my last one that came out a day ago.
Yeah.
1 view. One before that came out a week ago.
Yeah.
2 views.
Right.
The one 3 weeks ago, 2 views. 4 weeks ago, no views. 1 month ago, 10 views. And it was in between the YouTube Musicians Part 1 and 2 where I took the break.
Right.
And those are the ones, that's the one, no views and 10 views. And the one before the break was on 10.
So there's definitely a decline.
Yeah, but I'm not too bothered about it because I don't really focus on views. If I'm honest. I would much rather focus on producing stuff that I like. Like, even on my second channel, the Reddit video I put up, that's got 1 view in a week. I'm not too bothered about that though. Like, compared to my first ever video, which has got 165. That may even be more if I click on it. No, that is 165. But compared to that, it's like still that wouldn't be considered very good, but
no.
Yeah. By the way, if anyone wants to support me financially in any way with donations, there is a link. It will be below. A considerable amount of it will go to charity as well.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's what I do though. That's why I will never have as much money as most people, because I feel I can do better things with my money than just spend it on things I need or save it.
Yeah.
And I don't give it to like shit charities either. I give to charities that I know are
will do
doing
something.
yeah. Ones that I know are doing the right thing, and ones that I know will need it more, and maybe even, let's say, I'll keep because I have a separate account for the charity money, and I might save a bit up, and then I don't know, I might just give it all to, let's say, get a homeless person off the street for 2 nights or a week. Like, that's the way I see it. That's a better investment of that than if I don't, or if I just gave it to multiple charities.
Yeah.
And then I'm not gonna donate to any of, like, any charities that has a bias either, which is why. Right. Is there any other topic you wish to talk about? As this podcast has been a bit random.
Yeah, nothing's really coming to mind at the moment.
Okay, right, we'll end it here then. So, thank you for listening to the podcast. There's everything you need to know will be in the description below, including, well, no, I'm not going to do timestamps of where everything is,
A bit random.
because I don't know where everything is, so I'm not planning on listening through it much to see where they are. So I'm gonna have to censor a few bits that I've said, but other than that, should all be there.
Alright then.
Yeah, right. Thanks for listening. See you next time.